he's not that kind of guy. Like you said, no filter.
Right.
I said, why are you lying to me?
Right.
He said, no, really. She's been there since yesterday and she won't leave. I said, I can't believe you're lying to me. If you lie to me, I'm gonna leave.
Right.
You don't have to lie to me. I'm your friend.
Right.
Right. So, yeah, I'm not going anywhere because you have a girl at your place. Like you've had all these girls before. And he said, I want it in writing. And so I did. I put we had a contract that I would always be there, would always be his friend. Yeah. And then later, when we decided to become a couple, we wrote an addendum to the contract.
Mm-hmm.
And the addendum was that we really did love each other and we would stay in love. And if we ever got to a place where we were tolerating each other, we would be honest and leave.
What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of It's Giving. I am your host, Sarah Fontenot, and if you have not yet, please hit that little button below, get subscribed, hit that bell so you get a notification with each new piece of content. Now, today is a continuation, okay? Today is a blessing. Why? Because a very important woman is here with us today. I talk about her all the time on the podcast. I refer to the teachings that she's given me all the time on the podcast. Not only is she one of the most incredible people that I know personally, and I know a lot of really cool people. I look up to her more than anybody on the planet. She's also my mother. Can we please give it up for Miss Pamela on our podcast, y'all? How you feeling, Mom?
I'm fine.
Okay, so I already asked you, but I'm going to ask you again.
Okay.
If this season of your life were called It's Giving blank, and you had to fill in the blank, what would it be called? And you have to say It's Giving.
I already said it.
I know you got to come up with a new one. It's a new episode.
A new one.
We just didn't change clothes.
Well, it's giving happy.
Oh, break that down.
Well, I'm just happy to be here with all of these beautiful young people.
Well, that was easy. That was easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Mom. So we're going to jump right in. And if you guys are joining us live, please make sure to send this to 10 of your friends. Tell them to jump on. If you guys have questions, Anissa will be reading directly from the live tonight if you guys want to ask my mom some pretty awesome questions. But I'm going to go ahead and lead the questions. And I want to know, when you and Dad got together, did you think you were really going to be with him for life?
I didn't know. I didn't know him. And that's one of the problems with young people today. You see somebody and you say, that's going to be my guy. But you don't know that guy. You might meet him and think, oh my gosh, he's horrible.
Right.
So yeah, you have to take time. And it's so true, right? So I used to say, when you meet a guy, say no for 6 months.
Don't be a hoe 6 months at a time is actually what she said.
But you know why?
Why?
Because in 6 months, you probably don't want to be with that guy anyway. And you've already said no to a point where you're not ready to say yes. So you kind of save yourself, right?
You preserve yourself and your body.
You do, yeah. So,
this is true.
No, I did not. Your dad and I were friends for 18 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
So tell us the story of the contract.
So your dad, you talk about don't be a hoe every 6 months.
Yeah.
Your dad was a hoe every day. Oh my God. That man, I love him, but I see, I'm speechless. You ask him when he comes on your podcast.
Absolutely.
How many women?
Oh, I'm not going to
all
ask
over the world.
I'm not going to ask
everywhere.
Okay.
He went everywhere. He traveled
outside.
all over. Yep. So anyway, he had about 8 girlfriends when I met him. And he said, how do you feel about that? I said, I don't care because I'm not a wannabe.
Right.
I don't want to be your girlfriend, and I told him I'm not that kind. We can be friends, but I'm not looking for that. So you go and I'll have your fun. And so we were friends. Well, when he's, I want to say about a year, and I think he started to really like me. And he was afraid that I was going to leave because he was out there doing his thing. And I told him, oh, we found this out because we had gone out to a concert, and we went to a club, and we were having appetizers.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked him if he wanted me to go back to his place, if he wanted to go and we could listen to music, and he said no. There's a girl there and she won't leave.
Oh.
And now he's not that kind of guy, like you said, no filter.
Right.
I said, why are you lying to me?
Right.
He said, no, really, she's been there since yesterday and she won't leave. I said, I can't believe you're lying to me. If you lie to me, I'm gonna leave.
Right.
You don't have to lie to me. I'm your friend.
Right.
Right. So, yeah, I'm not going anywhere because you have a girl at your place. Like you've had all these girls before. And he said, I want it in writing. And so I did. I put we had a contract that I would always be there, would always be his friend. Yeah. And then later, when we decided to become a couple, we wrote an addendum to the contract.
Mm-hmm.
And the addendum was that we really did love each other, and we would stay in love. And if we ever got to a place where we were tolerating each other,
Mm-hmm.
we would be honest and leave.
Oh.
And that was a part of the addendum. So, yeah. First, I love you. I'll always love you.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never leave you.
Mm.
I'll always be your friend.
Yeah.
And there was more to it. He still has that. It's really funny.
The contract.
He does. You should ask him to see it.
Shout out to you, Dad, for still having the contract. That's pretty dope. I think that's a beautiful story.
Yeah.
And so here's a question, because I feel like you and Dad have been through everything. And one of the things that I really respect about your relationship is, even though you've been through everything, you've been committed to one another.
Mm-hmm.
How, like, going through the turmoil and the things that life throws at you, how were you both, and I mean, I'm going to have to ask Dad this too, but how are you able to stay anchored to one another? Like, when everything goes wrong, you know, you got the kids, we're all crying. We're all, you know, just miserable, mean, little bossy, think we know everything kids. Then you got, you know, Dad going through his stuff. You're going through your stuff. You're going to school full time to get your master's. You have a full-time job, trying to make sure we're not homeless. Like, how were you able to stay anchored? Like, what do people need to do to stay more anchored in their relationship?
You know how that song goes. It's the God in me.
Ooh, I love that song.
It's not me. It's not me. And with respect to the question, your dad and I, so our elders know how hard relationships are.
Yeah.
Because relationships are hard, and that's why they make you stand before God and family and friends and make a vow to never leave. Not through sickness, not through bad health, not through rich, not through poor, not through anything. You will stay. You will always stay. You make that vow because they know there's going to come a time when you want to punch him in the face. That's what you said, right?
That's exactly what I said.
And or walk out the door, or say, you know what, I don't need this. This is not for me. But you have to fight through it. One of the things Dad and I had going for us, we both had really strong spiritual bases. We both went to church when we were young, and we both really truly believe in the Word. And the Word does give you guidance. So even though I'm strong, I am a strong woman.
I know it.
And I am also strong-headed and strong mind. And I have my own opinions. I used to say, with the election just passing, I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a Republican, I'm opinionated.
Period.
And this is how I feel. But even with that, my strength, and I know how strong I am, the Word calls me to yield to my husband. The word tells me how to be a good woman. And a good woman, one of the things she does is get up early in the morning to go to the market and make a way for her family. her behavior makes the world see her husband as an honorable man, right?
Whew.
So the Bible tells you,
That's exactly
yeah,
what she's saying.
the Bible tells you what to do, and it also tells you in Corinthians to love,
Yeah.
you know, and what does love mean? Yeah. But the Bible also speaks to a man.
Mm.
And so does the Quran. You know, the Quran says that your wife is your counsel.
Mm.
And so you should listen, you know, and in the Bible, it says that a man should love his wife as Christ loved the church. So if you're both in that space where you can love one another,
Mm.
then no matter what comes, no matter what darts or torpedoes of life, you stand through it together. And you know you're going to come out the other side and it's going to be better.
I don't know why I'm so emotional, but I feel like because I've seen it, maybe it's because like, you know, we can only relate to what we've experienced. And so I've experienced seeing you and Dad. And one of the things I love when you say the darts of the torpedoes, and for those of you that are listening or watching, one of the things that you've always said is, you know, life is going to come and it's going to give you torpedoes. And what that means is it's going to feel like you got hit with a torpedo in your chest, and it will knock the air out of you. And surely you'll question God of, am I going to make it through this? And when you get through it, because we get through it, we didn't die. When you get through it, you get better at either dodging those torpedoes, but over time, the torpedo turns into a dart. Like that same problem that you had 10 years ago, I'm sure you could laugh about now. And I feel like it's analogies like that that I really hold on to, because there were times where I was crying myself to sleep at night. There were times where I was like, surely this is for the wrong household. There were times I was like, Mom, what do I do? That now we laugh about. You know, and they really have become darts. Like those are annoying. Like, oh, okay, yeah, I got hit, but it's like they bounce off you, you know, it doesn't, or it might stick you a little bit. Okay, great. Like I'm fine. It's not a torpedo. And so, I think when you do take relationships that way, but then again, that goes back to the fact that I think this generation is weak. They don't have a staying power inside of to get through the torpedo, to get through the thing that hurts, to get through the resentment or the lacking communication or the feeling misunderstood or not being heard or whatever it may be. People don't even know how to effectively communicate their what's missing or what they may need or how they want to feel, and so now they just quit. What would you say for the young people that quit on everything? How do you even, I don't even feel like people want to get married anymore.
No, I think that most people want that intimate relationship, whether they want to admit it or not.
I agree.
And, you know, I used to say to all of my children who blame me for being the worst mom ever and never understanding or hearing what they had to say, that's all fine and good. I'm going to be me, and you're going to take away what I've given you, and you're going to make the world better. But at some point, and I'd say 22, at 22, the warranty for my parenting expires.
Oh.
And now, if you're all messed up because of me, that's your problem. You better go get therapy. Do you remember this?
Yeah, I do.
Go get therapy and make yourself a better person, since I couldn't do it for you. And that's what everyone needs to do. You know, I've also, one of the analogies, I talk about being human. So we're all born human. And I talked about being born a woman, and we're all born female. But what makes us different? We strive to be a higher being. So we become human beings and not just human. So when you get a certain age, it's time to grow up and become a human being, which means you need to do the work. You have to, like the critical thought. You have to pick up a book, you know, and not just listen to other people's opinion, but actually do the work and make yourself a better person. And when you're a better person, then you deserve that better person. Everybody wants stuff easy. And if your parents did not give you what you needed to understand that nothing good comes easy, then you better learn it yourself.
That's good.
Mhm.
That's really good. Somebody said on here, what is your mom's best advice on a successful marriage? Sorry.
That's hard. That's hard. I believe in tradition. That's hard because it depends on where the individuals are. If I'd like to believe that if my husband wasn't as, well, he was different. We saw things different. We still see things differently. But one of the things in the beginning, child rearing, he would tell me that I talk too much. You talk, and the kids aren't learning anything. They're going to grow up and they're going to do this and they're going to do that. And I would hear him and respect him still. And then when he wasn't as passionate, I would remind him that it's okay for me to be different. And please just accept that I have a way of looking at things. I love the way you do things, and maybe I don't, but I accept them. And I need you to do the same for me. So for a relationship, if the love is there and the chemistry, which is important too, then fight. And fight starts with maybe going to couples counseling so that each person can hear someone else's reality, because our perception is our reality, right?
Yeah.
And so you have to really be willing to put in the work.
Did you and Dad ever do couples counseling?
No.
How did you get through the fights? I know one thing that you've always said to me is, Sarah, choose your battles. And because, and one of the analogies that you tell me, and this might be, for those that are listening or watching, one of the things you used to say, because I am a fixer. I've always been a fixer. And you used to tell me, when you try to fix every problem at once, it's like having braces. You have to tighten them a little bit at a time. Okay, we have this problem, let's fix that problem. Oh, now that we're done with that problem, let's do this one. So a little bit of time. But if you try to fix everything at once, or if you try to change everything at once, you tighten the braces as tight that they could go, you'll bust the teeth out of their mouth.
Yes.
So that is the relationship. If you are constantly trying to fix, you break the relationship down. Right? Because it's like you're not taking, it takes time to learn a person, to learn compromise, to learn who you're even dealing with.
Yes.
And that person is always changing in a relationship. How did you and Dad get through the things you had to fix?
Well, sometimes we'd agree to disagree.
That's hard.
Yeah, but sometimes we do that. Sometimes we just compromise. So there were some times when I really disagreed, but there wasn't room in the decision to walk away with you're still convicted the way you felt. And in those times, because I'm the wife, I would yield.
So you feel like the man should have the final say-so in the house? I do. You could say it. I've said it.
Well, hopefully you have a good man, and then yes.
That's the caveat. He's got to have leadership.
Yes.
Because you can't just yield to anybody. Because
Right.
some people will have you yielding, stopping on train tracks, and then you get killed.
Yeah.
Yeah, not ideal.
Yeah. But if you really, I mean, first thing, wait. Wait at least 6 months. Know who you're marrying before you say you're going to marry them.
Be their friend.
Yes.
And by wait, what does wait mean?
Well, for me, it took 18 months.
But I want you to be specific so the people at home can hear what you're saying. What does wait mean?
Wait for a woman, because physical intimacy is I think, when you're young, deeper for a woman than it is for a man.
Of course. Don't
be physically intimate with a man until you're ready to make a commitment in life. Men,
do you think commitment means marriage, or does commitment mean relationship? Does commitment mean exclusive? What does commitment mean to you in this day and age? Or has it changed?
No, I don't think it's changed.
Okay.
I think that if you allow it, if you allow someone to say, oh yeah, that's different now because it suits their own needs.
Ooh.
it doesn't change the fact that it doesn't change the fact. You know what my grandfather used to say? Oh, my grandfather had so many wonderful things. He'd tell me men and women are from a different planet. Somebody must have stolen that from him, because this is what he said. Years and years and years ago, he said, and we spend our whole lives trying to change one another when we don't even realize that we're a different species. We'll never be like each other. We just have to accept each other. So find someone that you can accept. And that's where I think that whole 70-30 or 80-20, make a list of all the things you like about this person and the list of what you don't like. And if the list of don't likes is longer than the likes, that's not the person for you. But he also said that, men are driven by hormones, which is almost like a sickness, he would say. Hormones will make men crazy, he said. You can't give in, because why buy the cow if you can get the milk free? I used to think, what a horrible thing to say. But he'd say that, that why would anyone marry you if you'll be their wife or you'll act as a wife
without the commitment. I agree with that. And you know what? I just so strongly agree, because I do feel, honestly, I feel like do I have to say this in a clean way? Can I just say it directly?
Say the thing, fine. No, I tell you this all the time.
I feel like for women that are overly promiscuous, for 304s or hoes as they call them in this day and age, I feel like the amount of hoes is rising. The amount of easily accessible, highly promiscuous women is at an all-time high, and they're destroying the sexual market value. And what I mean by that is, if the other women are sleeping with men for nothing but a dinner or some frozen yogurt or a FaceTime call, then for women that try to hold out to say, you know what, I really want to get to know you. Do I even like you? Could I even be your friend before? Like, if I like you, loving you is easier. So if I don't even know if I like you yet, why should I want to give you my body?
Right.
So for me, I agree in the sense where we should be taking our time to get to know a person. And also, this is another thing, ladies, we have to remember, if we sleep with every person that is interested in us, we'll be worn out and raggedy. That's just the truth of the matter. And now, depending on the people that you are sleeping with, you have to remember, for every person that you sleep with in that circle, you cancel out the rest of the circle, because no man is going to wife you when his boy just smashed you. Like that's not realistic. So if you're not mindful of the people that you're even being intimate with, and you're just out here living a la-di-da life, I have to say this, because I was having a conversation with some men the other day, and Athena and Anissa were here, and we were talking about, how long does it take for the term hoe to get off you? Like, how long do you have to be reborn and reformed and brand new before a man will say, oh, okay, I don't care as much about your past? You know what the men said in the circle?
It never goes away.
You got to move. So if you have kids in that city and you've just been a hoe and you know that you can't get away, you're literally disqualifying yourself from a higher quality, higher caliber, higher value, higher earning man. Because for whatever reason you feel guilty. So this is my question to you, Mom, because I feel like I was having this conversation with one of my girls the other day. And I was like, I'm abstinent right now until I'm not. And I've been abstinent and I'm dating, right? I'm getting to know people. And one of the things that she was saying was, you always set that from the beginning. I'm not saying I'm celibate, because I'm not making a commitment to God. The second that it changes, I can't be like, oh God, celibacy out the window. No, I'm abstinent until I'm not, and me and my mom, we talk about everything. So this is, if you guys are like, why is she saying this in front of her mom? Because we talk about literally everything. But I say that to say that she was saying, well, the thing is, I feel guilty. Like, I feel guilty if I don't sleep with that person. In my mind, I don't understand. Like, I literally told her, I was like, my brain can't compute that. Like, why would you? I don't understand where guilt comes in because they did something nice for you. I don't understand. But if you're just learning one another, if you're enjoying one another, why do I owe you my body? Do y'all have an answer for that?
I've been like that before.
Can you give her the mic real quick?
Oh my God.
Yeah, so we can hear you. Go ahead.
Mic check 1 2 1 2.
Uh-huh.
Dana's in the building, y'all.
Hi, you guys.
Mhm.
So I've definitely been like that before. That probably happened to me probably twice in my life where I felt bad because I didn't have sex.
But did you feel like have you ever been in a place where you allowed the guilt to make you have sex? Like you're not having sex because you genuinely want to sleep with this.
Absolutely
Well, then
not. I walked out and I'm like, damn, I feel bad. She ain't getting this done.
well, then that's different.
Yeah.
But I want to know when you're guilted into doing it.
Like
I
guilty,
feel like
you're guilted into sex.
Like where you feel like this, we had a great time, we've gone on a few nice dates, they've done their job at planning things, and I feel like I should sleep with him now.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of women who feel like that.
And then they do.
And they do it and they end up regretting it after.
That my brain can't where does the guilt come from?
Perspective.
Okay.
I may be totally wrong about this, but maybe they feel like they haven't given anything to the man of value other than their body. Like they don't feel like they have given the man anything for him to value, for him to not want to have sex with him.
No, because a friend that I was talking to is very valuable.
I'm not saying that they're not valuable, but in their mind, they haven't given anything to that specific person at that moment.
But what do you owe that person anyway?
I don't agree with you're right. I don't agree, but I'm saying maybe
that's how they're thinking.
That's how they're thinking. Like maybe they feel like they haven't reciprocated the amount of value of what they've received from that person, so they feel like the next best thing, the most valuable thing I have is my body. Type. It's a subconscious thing, but it's like they know that it's valuable, and they maybe don't feel like they haven't given as much value as they received. Because what other reason? Like I don't understand that. Like what? Like what? Like what? I genuinely
Kenny, what's your thought?
I'm off this one right now.
He said he off this one right now.
No, I'm really like I was literally I'm reading a new book because one of the things, and I've told you this 1,000 times, I've been saying this for years. In dating, now I'm like a stray cat. And what I mean by that is, yes, inside of dating, I am a stray cat. If you try to force me to come in the house, you will never see me again. But if you allow me to be like, oh, it's safe here. Oh, I'm going to go back and check it out. Oh, I'll rub my body on your leg. Oh, okay, I trust you. Then all of a sudden I turn into a house cat. And now it's like, I love this person. And I'll do the little knead on the chest. And, I want to snuggle and do all those things. But when I want my time, I need my time. You know what I mean? I am very much a stray cat. And I say that to say, my friend, I was having a conversation with my friend, and I was like, and she's like, you sound like this book. You need to read this book. Have you ever heard this before? And I have to tell you guys the book because I feel like it's a great read for women that are really trying to take their power inside of this situation. There's a few things that I disagree with, but it's called The Wisdom of the Pea. Yeah. And she was like, there's so many things that you say that are in this book. I'm like, I need to write a book. This is just ridiculous.
You need to write a book.
I need to write a book.
You did write a book.
I did. It's an ebook on how to be more feminine, but I need a real tangible book.
I want to sit there because I like real books.
Yeah. Yes. But I say that to say, she bought my ebook. Of course, my mom supported my book. But I say that to say that I don't understand why anyone should feel entitled to my body.
I think it has everything to do with society. And a lot of men have learned to manipulate the feelings of girls from the time they're teenagers to make you think that, first of all, this is how you can show me that you care for me, that you love me, right?
Mm.
And then girls, they want to be loved.
Yeah.
And then they find themselves in that bad place. So that's another lesson. I don't know if you remember this one when I would tell you, because we're human and sex is great for all of us.
Yeah.
Right. And so I would say, don't ever find yourself in a place where you can't say no.
Yeah.
Because your body will say yes.
Touché.
So don't find yourself by yourself. Make sure that you're protecting yourself.
Yeah.
And these are things, in all fairness, I have 3 sons, and I tell them the same thing. I used to say to you girls, boys are the devil. run. But I say to the girls or the boys, girls are the devil.
Run.
Run.
Yeah.
Because nothing new under the sun. Those girls were there before.
They'll be there after.
Well, you know, it's not a new thing that there are some girls who are more easily accessible.
Yeah, I feel like one of the most highly sought after things inside of high value, because we talk a lot about like high value masculine, high value feminine, and I think for both energies, it's exclusivity.
Mm-hmm.
And if anybody can get it, who wants it?
Mm-hmm.
It's not as valuable. Now, it is still valuable, but it's not as valuable as something that hasn't been had by everyone.
Well, it's still valuable.
Yeah, it's just not as valuable.
Well, no, it's still as valuable.
I'm thinking of a person right now that I grew up with, and everybody called this girl a hoe, and she slept with the whole football team. And I think you know exactly who I'm talking about. And we were in dance class together.
I know.
And for years, and she had to move, not just out of the province, out of the country. And she married a man who is not, you know.
It don't go all the way up to the top floor. The elevator don't go all the way up to the top floor.
I don't know how he is as a human. I just know what it looks like.
No. Because girls want to be loved.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm saying. We can't characterize people for behavior
but
where.
Can't we?
No, we can't.
Why can't we, Mom?
Because everyone is different, and maybe there's something missing. And maybe that person, maybe it's even a young man who's out with a girl that he shouldn't be with, because there are girls who are making victims out of young boys too.
True.
And maybe there's something missing. Maybe they're looking for something and they're buying into that. And so sometimes, and I don't want to use the word victim, but I can't think of a better word right now, but that's not the word I want.
Okay.
So sometimes people do things for the wrong reasons.
I agree.
But we can't dehumanize them because
I don't want to dehumanize anyone, but I do want to be clear, because this is my qualm. Okay, Mommy, this is my qualm with society.
Another cough drop.
Yes, that's perfect. My qualm with society is that society will make you believe that because we're saying something different than the normal agenda, that we're saying that it's wrong. I'm not saying that being a hoe is wrong. I'm not saying that living inside of your sexual liberation, that's a better way to say it. If you have sexual liberation, it's not wrong to do that. However, there are consequences to doing that. I do believe highly, because my circle of friends, I believe highly that it will disqualify you from a certain caliber of man. I can't speak to what the men do because I'm not a man. I can only speak to how women operate and what I know based off of the men that I'm around, and also based off of the choices that I have. You know my dating experience that I'm currently having, and there's no way on God's green earth that anyone would be like, yeah, Sarah, this even makes a little bit of sense. If I was super sexually liberated outside in these streets, sleeping with 3 men every quarter.
Yeah. I don't think that women in general want that. I think that most women who are moving toward being intimate with a man are hoping that something will come from it.
Mm.
But another thing said, we all have the same thing.
Yeah.
All of us.
Mm-hmm.
All us women.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to our bodies, we all have the same thing.
Sure.
What makes us different is our behaviors, our beliefs, and do we respect ourselves?
I think that's the key.
Yeah.
I think we have to respect ourselves and preserve ourselves.
Yeah.
And for those that are not preserving themselves, I think they are destroying the entire sexual market. It is lowering the value of the entire sexual market.
Well, maybe the young women need to start talking to the younger women. And
Mom,
mm-hmm.
Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah.
You need to tell them stop hoeing around out here.
No, you don't want to say it like that.
Okay, stop. Well, what would you say? How would you say
I
it?
would say what I said before,
mm-hmm.
that sex is a wonderful thing. It's a gift from God.
Mm-hmm.
So don't find yourself in a place where you can't say no. I would tell them that when we're young, sex is sex for boys.
Mm-hmm.
When sex for girls means love. But the boys aren't loving you.
Mm.
They're just looking for sex.
Mm-hmm.
So when you think about that, it's easier to say, no, I'm not the one. You can move on, right?
Yes. You can sex me when you love me.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So we have to tell we just have to tell young ladies it's okay to say no. And you know what? When you do say no, what did I say? How many? I can't remember the percentage. There was a percentage of boys who would leave within a week.
Yeah.
And then there's the guys who stay around for 2 weeks.
Yep.
And most of them are gone within 2 weeks.
A month.
Okay. And then the ones that hang around for 3 months, they could be lifelong friends.
Yeah. Because you never slept with them.
Yes. But some, not many try that long.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them, they disappear, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, you begin to know that person.
Yes.
That person begins to know you.
Yes.
And then they can determine whether or not
they can make an informed decision.
They can.
Like, I actually like you for real.
Mm-hmm.
I can have good conversations with you. I enjoy hanging out with you. The sex is just a bonus.
It is.
Because that's the easiest thing.
Yes.
Sex and money are the easiest things.
Yes.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah. So we have to start telling young people, just say no.
Just say no. Ladies, you heard it here first, okay? Just say no.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else, Mom? We're going to wrap up this episode, but is there any piece of advice as an elder? Guys, my mom is almost 70, okay? And she looks good as hell, okay? Goals over here for me. But is there anything that you would want to say to the young women that you could leave them with a piece of, I don't know, maybe some of the things that you've taught me how to be a lady.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you for that. You and Dad have raised me to really have a high level of self-respect, self-worth, and self-appreciation, and a high level of self-preservation as well. And I think that that's important for all of us to have, and not to take it too far, because then you can get into like some crazy narcissistic traits, but a healthy level of where you don't take just anything. You know, you do have healthy boundaries around who it is that you are and who it is that you're excited to become. Like, what would you say to the young woman that's listening? Like, I really want to be in a healthy, beautiful, connected relationship. Who do I need to be?
There's too much to say in a word or two, but I guess if I had to say one or two things, I would say to remember that our body is just a vessel.
Mm-hmm.
It's a vessel for our soul, and our soul to live in harmony with our Creator. And if your body is a house where a Creator lives, how special is it? And if it's that special, how should it be treated? Right? So just say no, because your body is a wonderful, beautiful, special thing. And it's not to be used without thought or consideration. So, and I don't even know if that's the whole topic we were talking about, but love yourself.
Yes.
Yes. And be okay with loving yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you so much, Mom, for coming on this show and sharing a piece of you. I mean, I've been getting you for 36 years, and there's so much wisdom that you've imparted into me. There's so many analogies that have been embodied into like who I am and how I am. And it's funny. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I'm watching my mom from like a completely different aspect. And I'm like, even how I think, like, you know how you can see her thinking? I hear people say that to me, and now I've seen it on the podcast, and I can see where I am you. And so I just, number one, want to say thank you for giving me a shot because I know I was not planned. So thank you for allowing me to be here. And just for your wisdom and showing up the way that you do. You are literally one of the most incredible people that I know on this planet. And I'm so honored that God chose you as my mommy. So thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. And Dad, I love you too. I'm so grateful to have you as my dad in my life. And guys, today we talked about a lot of things. We talked about preserving your body, waiting, saying no. Just say no. Okay. That's one of the things. My mom said that 18 times. Just say no. And really how to love yourself, and just a friendly reminder that high value means exclusivity. And if you don't see the value in your body, who else will? If you don't see value in you, who else will? So just a friendly reminder that you are freaking phenomenal. Bomb.com. Nothing can stop you but you got to do something about it. I love you guys. Mwah. Bye.
Bye.